Do you know that there are several money mistakes that you might be making without even knowing it is a mistake? You wake up one day to realize you've lost millions, not because of a bad investment or a scam, but because of small, seemingly harmless decisions you made over the years. It's a gut punch, isn't it? The truth is, wealth isn't just built by earning more. It's preserved by avoiding costly mistakes. From the way you manage your daily coffee habit to the investments you blindly trust, the financial missteps you make today could be silently draining your future millions. In this video, we'll uncover the most insidious money mistakes that could cost you a fortune and show you what to avoid to protect your financial future. Buckle up, this is going to be an eye-opener. Also, if you love to learn more about your finance and how to manage it properly, kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time we share our next video. 1. Living without a budget, the silent wealth killer. Let's start with a mistake so common it's practically a rite of passage: not having a budget. You might think, I know roughly what I spend, but that's like driving blindfolded and hoping you don't crash. Without a budget, your money leaks through the cracks. $5 here on a latte, $20 there on takeout, and suddenly you're wondering where your paycheck went. The average American spends about $3,000 a year on dining out alone, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Over 30 years, with a modest 5% annual return if invested, that's over $200,000 lost to burgers and fries. And that's just one category. Without a budget, you're not just spending, you're hemorrhaging potential wealth. What to avoid? Treating a budget like a punishment. It's not about deprivation, it's about clarity. Use apps like YNAB or Mint to track every dollar. Allocate funds for fun, but know where they're going. Ignorance isn't bliss, it's expensive. Your morning coffee could cost you a mansion. That $5 daily coffee? Over 40 years, with compound interest, it could grow to over $150,000. Imagine trading your caffeine fix for a down payment on a beach house. Small leaks sink big ships, and your daily habits are the holes in your financial hull. 2. Falling for lifestyle inflation, the trap of keeping up. You get a raise, and suddenly you need a bigger house, a fancier car, or designer clothes. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's a wealth destroyer dressed as success. The more you earn, the more you feel pressured to spend to look the part. But every dollar spent on status is a dollar not working for your future. Consider this. A $50,000 car financed over 5 years at 5% interest costs you about $56,600. If you'd invested that $50,000 instead at a 7% annual return, it could grow to over $192,000 in 20 years. That's a retirement nest egg traded for a shiny hood ornament. What to avoid? The urge to upgrade your life every time your income rises. Keep your core expenses stable, even as you earn more. Channel raises into investments, not Instagram-worthy purchases. The Joneses you're trying to keep up with? They're probably drowning in debt. The millionaire next door doesn't look like one. In The Millionaire Next Door, authors Thomas Stanley and William Danko found that most millionaires live modestly, drive used cars, and avoid flashy purchases. They prioritize wealth over appearances. Meanwhile, the guy with the least BMW is often one paycheck away from broke. Who's really winning? 3. Ignoring compound interest, missing the eighth wonder of the world. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. It's the magic that turns small, consistent investments into massive wealth. But ignoring it, or starting too late, can cost you millions. Let's break it down. If you invest $5,000 a year from age 25 to 65 at an 8% annual return, you'd have about $2.3 million. Start at 35 and you'd have only $1 million. That 10-year delay costs you $1.3 million. Time is your greatest asset, and squandering it is a mistake you can't undo. What to avoid? Procrastinating on investing because you'll do it later. Open a low-cost index fund account today. Automate contributions, even if it's $50 a month. Every day you wait is money you'll never get back. A decade of delay could cost you a yacht that $1.3 million lost by starting 10 years later. It's not just numbers. It's a yacht, a dream home, or a worry-free retirement. Compound interest rewards the early bird, not the one who hits snooze. 4. Falling for get-rich-quick schemes, the siren song of easy money. crypto pumps, multi-level marketing, or that guaranteed stock tip from your cousin. The allure of quick riches is hard to resist. But these schemes are financial quicksand. They promise millions and deliver misery. The SEC reports that investors lose billions annually to fraud, with Ponzi schemes alone costing victims $3.7 billion in 2022. Take the infamous Bernie Madoff scandal. Investors thought they were earning steady returns, only to lose $65 billion when the scheme collapsed. Even smaller scams, like a $10,000 investment in a shady startup, can wipe out savings you spent years building. What to avoid? Anything that sounds too good to be true. Stick to boring, proven investments like index funds or blue chip stocks. If someone's rushing you to act now, run the other way. Wealth is built slowly, not overnight. The tortoise always beats the hare. Warren Buffett, one of the world's richest men, built his fortune through patient, disciplined investing. His average annual return, about 20% over decades, not 200% in a week. Chasing quick wins is a recipe for regret. 5. Overpaying for convenience, the hidden tax on laziness. Convenience is seductive. Meal kits, ride shares, same-day delivery, it all saves time, but at a steep cost. The average household spends $1,500 a year on subscription services alone, per a 2023 survey by C+R Research. Add in takeout, premium shipping, and other time savers, and you're bleeding thousands annually. Let's say you spend $100 a month on meal delivery services. That's $1,200 a year. Invested at 7% over 30 years, it's $122,000. Convenience isn't free, it's a tax on your future wealth. What to avoid? Blindly paying for every convenience. Cook a few meals a week. Cancel unused subscriptions. Walk or bike instead of Ubering. Small sacrifices now build big rewards later. Your Netflix binge could cost you a Tesla. Those $15 monthly subscriptions add up. 5 subscriptions over 30 years, invested at 7%, could grow to over $200,000. That's a Tesla Model S or a hefty chunk of your kid's college fund. Is another streaming service really worth it? 6. Neglecting your credit score, the invisible anchor. Your credit score isn't just a number, it's a gateway to wealth, or a ball and chain. A low score means higher interest rates on loans, credit cards, and mortgages. Over a lifetime, this can cost you hundreds of thousands. For example, on a $300,000 30-year mortgage, a 4% interest rate costs $215,000 in interest. At 6%, it's $347,000. That's $132,000 lost because of a worse credit score. And that's just one loan. What to avoid? Ignoring your credit health. Pay bills on time, keep credit card balances low, and check your credit report annually for errors. A strong score saves you money every time you borrow. A bad score follows you like a shadow. A 2024 Experian study found that 1 in 5 Americans has a credit score below 640, locking them into high-interest debt. Meanwhile, those with scores above 760 get the best rates. Your score shapes your financial future. Don't let it drag you down. 7. Carrying high-interest debt, the wealth vampire. Credit card debt is a vampire sucking your financial lifeblood. The average American carries $6,000 in credit card debt, with interest rates often exceeding 20%. Paying just the minimum on a $6,000 balance at 20% takes 30 years and costs $12,000 in interest. That's $18,000 total for a $6,000 debt. If you'd invested that $6,000 instead at 7%, it could grow to $45,000 in 30 years. Debt doesn't just cost you money, it steals your future. What to avoid? Letting high-interest debt linger. Prioritize paying off credit cards with the avalanche method, highest interest first. Avoid new debt by living within your means. If you're drowning, consider a balance transfer to a 0% interest card. Your credit card is stealing your retirement. That $12,000 in interest you paid, it's not just gone. It's money that could have compounded into a 6-figure retirement boost. Every swipe you can't pay off is a step backward from your financial goals. If you've learned all this, kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time we share our next video. 8. Not diversifying investments. Putting all your eggs in one basket. You've heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but too many investors ignore it. Betting everything on one stock, industry, or asset class is a recipe for disaster. The 2008 financial crisis wiped out 50% of the S&P 500's value, but diversified portfolios with bonds and international stocks lost far less. Take Enron's collapse in 2001. Employees who invested their entire 401k in company stock lost everything, billions in total. Diversification isn't sexy, but it's your safety net. What to avoid? Over-concentrating your investments. Spread your money across stocks, bonds, real estate, and international markets. Low-cost ETFs are an easy way to diversify without overthinking it. Even the sure thing can sink. NVIDIA's stock soared 2,000% from 2015 to 2023, but no one can predict the next winner. In 2000, Pets.com was a hot stock, until it wasn't. Diversification protects you when the next big thing flops. NAR 9. Ignoring tax-advantaged accounts. Leaving money on the table. Retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs aren't just for old age. They're tax shelters that turbocharge your wealth. Yet millions of Americans underutilize them. In 2023, only 56% of workers contributed to a 401k per Vanguard, and many skipped the full employer match. Let's say your employer matches 5% of your $60,000 salary. That's $3,000 free money a year. Over 30 years at 7%, it's $300,000. Skipping the match is like burning cash. What to avoid? Neglecting 401ks, IRAs, or HSAs. Max out your employer match, then fund a Roth IRA for tax-free growth. If you're self-employed, explore CP IRAs. Every dollar you save in taxes compounds over time. Your boss wants to pay for your vacation home. That $300,000 from a 401k match? It's not just retirement. It's a vacation home, a world tour, or financial freedom. Don't leave free money on the table because you can't afford to save. 10. Emotional investing, letting fear and greed steer the ship. The stock market is a roller coaster, and your emotions are the worst driver. Panic selling during a crash or buying into a hype bubble can devastate your portfolio. In 2020, many investors sold at the COVID market bottom, missing the 80% rebound that followed. A Dalbar study found that the average investor underperforms the S&P 500 by 2% annually due to emotional decisions. Over 30 years, that gap turns a $100,000 investment into $761,000 instead of $1.5 million, a $389,000 mistake. What to avoid? Trading based on fear or FOMO. Stick to a long-term plan, rebalance annually, and ignore market noise. If you can't stay calm, hire a low-fee financial advisor to keep you grounded. The market rewards the boring. Legendary investor Peter Lynch averaged 29% annual returns by staying disciplined, not chasing trends. Emotional investing feels exciting but leaves you poorer. Boring wins the race. 11. Skimping on insurance, gambling with your future. Insurance isn't glamorous, but it's your shield against financial ruin. A single medical emergency, car accident, or house fire can wipe out decades of savings. Yet 30% of Americans lack adequate health insurance, and 15% skip home or renter's insurance, per a 2024 Insurance Information Institute survey. Consider a $500,000 lawsuit from a car accident. Without sufficient liability coverage, you're on the hook. Or a $100,000 hospital bill with no health insurance. These aren't hypotheticals, they're wealth destroyers. What to avoid? Cutting corners on insurance. Get comprehensive health, auto, home, and umbrella policies. Shop around for deals, but don't skimp on coverage. It's cheaper than bankruptcy. One accident could cost you everything. A $500,000 lawsuit isn't just a number. It's your retirement, your kid's college fund, your life's work. Insurance isn't an expense. It's a firewall between you and disaster. 12. Not negotiating your salary, leaving millions behind. Your salary isn't just income. It's the foundation of your wealth. Failing to negotiate can cost you millions over a career. A 2023 PayScale study found that employees who negotiate their starting salary earn $7,500 more on average. Compounded over 40 years with 3% annual raises, that's $1.2 million in lost earnings. Even if you negotiate once and never again, the ripple effect is massive. Higher salaries mean bigger bonuses, better 401k matches, and more to invest. What to avoid? Accepting the first offer. Research market rates on Glassdoor or Salary.com, practice your pitch, and ask for 10 to 20% more than the offer. The worst they can say is no. Your silence is costing you a fortune. Women are 20% less likely to negotiate salaries than men, per Harvard Business Review, widening the wealth gap. One bold conversation can change your financial trajectory forever. 13. Overpaying for education, the degree debt trap. A college degree can open doors, but overpaying for it can lock you in debt for decades. The average student loan balance is $43,000, with payments eating up 10 to 20% of income for 20 years. That's money not going to investments, a home, or retirement. Private colleges often charge $50,000 a year, while in-state public schools average $10,000. The degree's value is often the same, but the cost difference is life-changing. What to avoid? Chasing prestige over value. Consider community college for 2 years, then transfer. Apply for scholarships, work part-time, and avoid private loans. Your degree doesn't need a designer label. Your diploma could cost you a house. That $40,000 annual tuition? Over 4 years, it's $160,000, enough for a house down payment. Invested at 7% for 30 years, it's $1.3 million. Is a fancy campus worth your financial freedom? Kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time we share our next video. 14. Falling for financial advisors who aren't fiduciaries. The wolf in sheep's clothing. You hire a financial advisor to guide you to wealth, but not all advisors have your best interests at heart. Many operate under a suitability standard, meaning they can recommend products that earn them fat commissions, even if they're not optimal for you. Non-fiduciary advisors might push high-fee mutual funds or annuities that drain your returns over time. For example, a mutual fund with a 2% annual fee sounds small, but on a $500,000 portfolio over 30 years at 7% gross return, you'd lose $432,000 to fees compared to a low-cost index fund with a 0.1% fee. That's nearly $500,000 siphoned off because you trusted the wrong advisor. What to avoid? Working with advisors who aren't fiduciaries. Ask directly, are you a fiduciary? And get it in writing. Choose fee-only advisors who charge a flat or hourly rate, not commissions. Platforms like Vanguard or Schwab offer low-cost advisory services for a fraction of the price. Your advisor could be stealing your dreams. That $432,000 in fees? It's not just numbers. It's a world cruise, a legacy for your kids, or early retirement. A non-fiduciary advisor might smile while quietly eroding your wealth. Don't let them. 15. Ignoring estate planning. Leaving chaos behind. You've worked hard to build wealth, but without an estate plan, it could vanish or spark family feuds after you're gone. Dying without a will means the state decides who gets your assets, often leading to costly probate battles. In 2023, the average probate process cost $12,000 to $30,000 in legal fees, per the American Bar Association, and can tie up estates for years. Then there's the estate tax hit. In 2025, estates over $13 million face federal taxes up to 40%. Without proper planning, like trusts or gifting strategies, you could lose millions to Uncle Sam. Even smaller estates can suffer if you don't designate beneficiaries for retirement accounts or life insurance. What to avoid? Procrastinating on estate planning. Draft a will, set up a living trust, and name beneficiaries for all accounts. Consult an estate attorney to minimize taxes and ensure your wishes are clear. Your legacy deserves protection. Prince's $156 million mistake. When musician Prince died without a will in 2016, his $156 million estate was mired in legal battles, costing millions in fees and taxes. Even superstars make this mistake. Don't join them. 16. Overbuying a home, the dream house nightmare. A house is often your biggest purchase, but buying more than you can afford is a financial anchor. The National Association of Realtors reports that the median home price in 2024 was $412,000, yet many stretch their budgets to buy bigger, flashier homes. A $500,000 home with a 30-year mortgage at 6% costs $1.1 million total with interest. If you'd bought a $350,000 home, you'd save $330,000. That extra $150,000 spent on a bigger house, if invested at 7% for 30 years, could grow to $1.2 million. Plus, bigger homes mean higher property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, ongoing costs that erode your wealth. What to avoid? Buying a home beyond your means. Stick to the 28-36 rule. Housing costs, mortgage, taxes, insurance shouldn't exceed 28% of gross income, and total debt shouldn't exceed 36%. A modest home builds wealth. A mansion can break it. Your McMansion could cost you millions. That extra bedroom you had to have? It's not just a mortgage payment. It's $1 million retirement fund you traded away. A dream house shouldn't become a financial nightmare. 17. Chasing trends instead of value. The hype trap. From NFTs to meme stocks, chasing financial trends is like gambling in a casino. You might win briefly, but the house always comes out ahead. In 2021, NFT sales peaked at $25 billion, but by 2023, 95% of NFTs were worthless, per DappRadar. Similarly, GameStop's 2021 meme stock frenzy saw shares soar to $483, only to crash to $20 by 2024. Trend chasing distracts from building wealth through steady, value-driven investments. A $10,000 bet on an NFT or meme stock that tanks is $10,000 not growing in a diversified portfolio where it could have reached $80,000 in 30 years at 7%. What to avoid? Jumping on bandwagons. Focus on fundamentals. Companies with strong earnings, low debt, and consistent growth. Index funds like the S&P 500 offer exposure to trends without the risk of picking losers. The dot-com bubble's $5 trillion lesson. The 2000 dot-com crash wiped out $5 trillion in market value as investors chased unprofitable tech startups. Those who stuck to diversified value-based investing, like Warren Buffett, came out unscathed. Trends fade, value endures. At this point, you're already mastering the art of safe finance. Kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time we share our next video. 18. Not building an emergency fund, one crisis away from ruin. Life is unpredictable. A job loss, medical bill, or car repair can strike without warning. Without an emergency fund, you're forced to dip into savings, sell investments at a loss, or rack up high-interest debt. A 2024 Federal Reserve survey found 27% of Americans have no savings to cover a $400 emergency. A $5,000 emergency funded by a 20% credit card takes 4 years to pay off with minimum payments, costing $2,000 in interest. If you'd had an emergency fund, that $5,000 could have stayed invested, growing to $40,000 in 30 years at 7%. What to avoid? Living without a safety net. Aim for 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses in a high-yield savings account. Start small. $1,000 is better than nothing, and automate contributions. Preparedness is wealth. One flat tire could derail your future. A $500 car repair on a credit card could balloon to $1,000 with interest, stealing from your investments. An emergency fund isn't just cash. It's peace of mind and a wealth preserver. 19. Blindly trusting financial influencers. The social media mirage, TikTok, YouTube, and X are flooded with finfluencers promising wealth secrets, crypto hacks, day trading tips, or passive income schemes. Many are unqualified, pushing products for profit or clout. A 2023 CFA Institute study found 60% of finfluencer advice is misleading or outright false. Following bad advice can be catastrophic. Imagine sinking $20,000 into a can't-miss crypto coin that crashes to zero, as many did during the 2022 crypto winter, which erased $2 trillion in market value. That $20,000 invested in an S&P 500 index fund could have grown to $160,000 in 30 years. What to avoid? Taking advice from unverified sources. Stick to credentialed experts, CFPs, CPAs, or reputable firms. Cross-check influencer tips against primary sources like SEC filings or financial data. Your wallet isn't their experiment. The Wolf of Wall Street lives online. Jordan Belfort, the real-life Wolf of Wall Street, defrauded investors of $200 million. Today's finfluencers use viral videos instead of boiler rooms, but the game is the same. Trust knowledge, not charisma. 20. Neglecting continuous learning, the cost of financial ignorance. The financial world evolves. Tax laws change, markets shift, and new tools emerge. If you're not learning, you're losing. A 2024 Financial Industry Regulatory Authority study found that 65% of Americans lack basic financial literacy, leading to costly mistakes like overpaying taxes or missing investment opportunities. For instance, not understanding Roth IRA conversions could cost you thousands in taxes. Converting $50,000 from a traditional IRA to a Roth in a low-income year saves $12,000 in taxes at a 24% rate. Over 20 years, that $12,000 invested at 7% grows to $48,000. What to avoid? Assuming you know enough. Read books like The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham or Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. Follow reputable financial blogs or take free online courses from Khan Academy. Knowledge compounds like interest. Ignorance isn't cheap. A single tax mistake could cost you a year's vacation. Staying financially literate doesn't just save money, it builds millions over a lifetime. Stop learning, and you start losing. 21. Overfunding your kids' future. Wait, sacrificing your own. You want the best for your kids. Top schools, private lessons, a fully funded college account. But over-prioritizing their future at the expense of your own can leave you broke in retirement. The average cost of raising a child to 18 is $310,000 per a 2023 USDA report, excluding college. Add a private university at $60,000 a year, and you're at $550,000 per kid. If you skip retirement contributions to fund your child's education, you're gambling with your future. Saving $10,000 a year for college instead of your 401k from age 40 to 60 costs you $761,000 at 7% growth. Enough to retire comfortably. What to avoid? Neglecting your retirement for your kids. Use 529 plans for college savings, but prioritize your 401k and IRA. Kids can borrow for college. You can't borrow for retirement. Your kids don't want to bankroll you. A 2024 AARP survey found 20% of retirees rely on their children for financial support. Overfunding your kids' future could make you a burden later. Balance love with logic. 22. Falling for impulse purchases, the retail therapy trap. Impulse buys are a dopamine hit with a long-term cost. That $200 gadget or $500 designer bag feels great until you realize it's money not working for you. The average American spends $1,800 a year on unplanned purchases, per a 2024 Slick Deals survey. Over 30 years at 7%, that's $183,000 lost. Even small impulse buys add up. A $50 monthly splurge, new shoes, tech gadgets, costs $6,000 over a decade. Invested, it's $12,000 at 7%. Every treat-yourself moment is a step back from wealth. What to avoid? Shopping without a plan. Use the 24-hour rule. Wait a day before buying non-essentials. Stick to a shopping list and unsubscribe from retailer emails. Your future self will thank you. That impulse buy could cost you a fortune. That $500 bag, it's not just a purchase. It's $4,000 you won't have in 30 years. Retail therapy feels good now, but leaves you poorer later. Pause before you swipe. 23. Not reviewing your portfolio, the set and forget mistake. You invest in a 401k or brokerage account and forget about it, assuming it'll grow on its own. But markets change, and so do your goals. A portfolio that's too aggressive near retirement or too conservative in your 20s can cost you dearly. A 2023 Morningstar study found that poorly allocated portfolios underperform by 1 to 2% annually. On a $500,000 portfolio over 20 years, a 2% performance gap means $400,000 less. Add in outdated funds with high fees, and the losses pile up. Regular reviews keep your money aligned with your life. What to avoid? Ignoring your investments. Rebalance your portfolio annually to maintain your target allocation. Swap high-fee funds for low-cost ETFs. If you're unsure, consult a fee-only advisor. Your portfolio isn't a crock-pot. Set and forget works for slow cookers, not investments. A quick annual checkup can save you hundreds of thousands. Neglect your portfolio, and it'll neglect your wealth. Conclusion: your wealth, your responsibility. The path to millions isn't just about earning more. It's about avoiding the pitfalls that silently erode your fortune. From lifestyle inflation to impulse buys, high-interest debt to trend chasing, these 23 money mistakes can cost you not just thousands, but millions over a lifetime. Each misstep is a choice, often a small one, that compounds into a massive loss. But here's the good news. Every mistake avoided is a step toward financial freedom. Wealth isn't luck, it's discipline. By budgeting wisely, investing early, diversifying smartly, and staying educated, you can sidestep these traps. Protect your future by questioning convenience, rejecting hype, and prioritizing long-term gains over short-term thrills. Your financial destiny isn't set, it's shaped by the decisions you make today. Take control, avoid these costly errors, and build the wealth you deserve. Did you enjoy this video? Kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time we share our next video, which will transform your financial life. See you on our next video.